A young boy, just 12 years old, stood in front of his father's grave, clutching a single red rose in his small hand. His name was Liam, and today was the day he had been both dreading and longing for. The day he would visit his father's grave for the first time since the funeral. Liam's heart felt heavy, like a stone sinking in his chest. He missed his dad more than words could ever describe. It had been 6 months since the accident, but the pain was still fresh, like an open wound that refused to heal. His father had been his hero, his best friend, the one who taught him how to ride a bike, how to fish, and how to laugh even when things were tough. Now, all Liam had left were memories and a gravestone that read, "Beloved father, husband, and friend." As he knelt down, placing the rose gently on the cold, gray stone, tears welled up in his eyes. He wiped them away quickly, trying to be brave. "Hi, Dad," he whispered, his voice trembling. "I miss you so much. I don't know what to do without you." The wind rustled through the trees, and for a moment, Liam felt a strange warmth, like a hand on his shoulder. He looked around, but no one was there. Then, just as he was about to stand up, he heard it. A voice, soft but clear, calling his name. "Liam." His heart skipped a beat. It was a voice he knew better than any other. It was his father's voice. Liam froze. His breath caught in his throat and his eyes widened in disbelief. "Dad?" he whispered, his voice barely audible. He looked around again, half expecting to see his father standing there, smiling that warm, reassuring smile he always had. But the cemetery was empty, save for the rows of gravestones and the gentle rustling of leaves in the wind. "Liam." The voice came again, softer this time, but unmistakably his father's. It wasn't loud or frightening. It was comforting, like a hug in the form of sound. Liam's heart raced, but he felt a strange calmness wash over him, as if his father's presence was wrapping him in a protective blanket. "Dad, is that really you?" Liam asked, his voice trembling with a mix of hope and fear. He didn't know if he was imagining things, but the voice felt so real, so close. "It's me, buddy," the voice replied, warm and gentle. "I'm here." Tears streamed down Liam's face now, but they weren't tears of sadness, they were tears of relief. For the first time in months, he felt like his dad was still with him, like he hadn't truly left. He knelt back down, placing his hand on the cold gravestone as if he could somehow reach through it. "I miss you so much, Dad," Liam said, his voice breaking. "Everything's been so hard without you. Mom tries, but it's not the same." "I know, Liam," the voice replied, filled with understanding. "I miss you too. But I need you to be strong, okay? You're braver than you think." Liam wiped his tears with the back of his hand, trying to steady his breathing. "I don't feel brave," he admitted. "I feel lost." "You're not lost, Liam," his father's voice said firmly but kindly. "I'm always with you. Every time you look at the stars, every time you hear the wind in the trees, every time you laugh or smile, that's me, watching over you." Liam's heart swelled with emotion. He wanted to believe it, to hold on to this moment forever. But as he sat there, the wind grew still, and the voice faded into silence. For a moment he panicked, afraid that his father was gone again. But then he felt it, a gentle warmth in his chest, a feeling of peace that he hadn't felt in months. He stood up slowly, looking at the gravestone one last time. "I love you, Dad," he said softly. "I'll try to be brave, just like you said." As he turned to leave, he felt a light breeze brush against his cheek, almost like a kiss. And for the first time since his father's passing, Liam smiled. Liam walked home slowly, his mind swirling with thoughts and emotions. The encounter at the cemetery felt like a dream, but the warmth in his chest and the sound of his father's voice were so vivid, so real. He couldn't stop replaying the moment in his head. The way his dad had spoken to him, the comfort in his words, the promise that he was still watching over him. As he reached his house, Liam paused at the front door, taking a deep breath. His mom had been struggling since his dad's passing, and he knew she was doing her best to keep things together. But he also knew she missed his dad just as much as he did. Maybe, just maybe, he could share what had happened today. Maybe it would help her too. He opened the door and found his mom in the kitchen chopping vegetables for dinner. She looked up and gave him a tired smile. "Hey, sweetie, how was your walk?" Liam hesitated for a moment, then walked over to her. "Mom, I went to Dad's grave today." Her hands stilled and she set the knife down, turning to face him fully. "Oh, Liam," she said softly, her eyes filled with concern. "Are you okay?" He nodded, though his eyes were still a little red from crying. I heard him, Mom. I heard Dad's voice." His mom's eyes widened, and for a moment she didn't say anything. Then she knelt down to his level, placing her hands on his shoulders. "What do you mean, sweetie?" Liam took a deep breath, trying to find the right words. "I was talking to him, and then I heard him say my name. He told me he's still with us, that he's watching over us. He said I need to be brave." Tears filled his mom's eyes, and she pulled him into a tight hug. "Oh, Liam," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I believe you. I really do. Your dad loved you so much, and I know he's still looking out for us." They stayed like that for a while, holding on to each other as if they could draw strength from the embrace. For the first time in months, Liam felt like they were a team again, like they could face the pain together. That night, as Liam lay in bed, he stared at the ceiling, thinking about his dad's words. "You're braver than you think." He didn't feel brave, not yet, but he wanted to be. He wanted to make his dad proud. As he closed his eyes, he imagined his father's face, smiling at him like he used to. And for the first time in a long time, Liam fell asleep with a sense of peace. The days that followed Liam's visit to the cemetery were different. He couldn't explain it, but something inside him had shifted. His father's voice lingered in his mind, a gentle reminder that he wasn't alone. Slowly, Liam began to find small ways to be brave, just like his dad had asked. At school, Liam had always been quiet, especially since his father's passing. He kept to himself, avoiding conversations and hiding behind his books. But one morning, as he sat at his desk, he noticed a new student sitting alone at the back of the classroom. The boy looked nervous, fidgeting with his pencil and glancing around like he didn't know what to do. Liam remembered how his dad used to say, "Sometimes being brave means reaching out to someone who needs a friend." Taking a deep breath, Liam stood up and walked over to the new student. "Hi," Liam said, his voice a little shaky. "I'm Liam. Do you want to sit with me?" The boy looked up, surprised but relieved. "Yeah, thanks, I'm Alex." From that day on, Liam and Alex became friends. They sat together at lunch, worked on projects, and even played soccer after school. Liam realized that being brave didn't always mean doing something big. It could be as simple as saying hello to someone who looked lonely. At home, Liam also started helping his mom more. He noticed how tired she looked after work, so he began setting the table for dinner and helping with the dishes without being asked. One evening, as they sat together eating, his mom smiled at him and said, "You've been so helpful lately, Liam. I'm really proud of you." Liam felt a warm glow in his chest. He knew his dad would be proud too, but there were still moments when the pain felt overwhelming. One night, as Liam lay in bed, he found himself missing his dad so much that it hurt. He closed his eyes and whispered, "Dad, are you still there?" For a moment there was only silence. Then he felt that familiar warmth in his chest, and in his mind, he heard his father's voice. "I'm here, Liam. Always." It was enough to calm his heart and help him fall asleep. As the weeks turned into months, Liam found himself thinking about his dad more often, but in a different way. Instead of feeling only sadness, he began to smile at the memories. The way his dad used to laugh at silly jokes, the way he would cheer loudly at Liam's soccer games, and the way he always knew how to make everything feel okay. One Saturday morning, Liam decided to do something special. He asked his mom if they could visit his dad's favorite place, a small lake on the outskirts of town where they used to go fishing together. His mom agreed, and they packed a picnic lunch, just like they used to do when his dad was alive. When they arrived at the lake, Liam felt a rush of emotions. The place looked exactly the same. The calm water, the tall trees, and the old wooden dock where his dad used to sit for hours, waiting for a fish to bite. Liam walked over to the dock and sat down, his legs dangling over the edge. His mom sat beside him, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Your dad loved this place," she said softly. "He always said it was where he felt most at peace." Liam nodded, staring out at the water. "I remember the last time we came here. He taught me how to cast the line properly. I kept getting it tangled, but he never got mad. He just laughed and said, 'You'll get it, buddy. Just keep trying.'" His mom smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. "That sounds just like him. He was so patient with you." They sat in silence for a while, watching the sunlight dance on the water. Then Liam reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, smooth stone he had picked up on the way to the lake. He held it in his hand for a moment, remembering how his dad used to skip stones across the water. "Dad always said the best stones were flat and smooth," Liam said, showing the stone to his mom. "He said it was all about the angle and the flick of your wrist," his mom chuckled. "He made it look so easy, didn't he?" Liam stood up and walked to the edge of the dock. He took a deep breath, just like his dad used to do, and then he threw the stone. It skipped across the water once, twice, 3 times before sinking. Liam grinned. "Did you see that, Mom? 3 skips!" His mom clapped her hands. "That was amazing, Liam. Your dad would be so proud." Liam felt a surge of happiness, but it was mixed with a bittersweet ache. He missed his dad so much, but he also felt grateful for the memories they had shared. He knew now that his dad's love wasn't gone. It was still here, in the lessons he had taught, the laughter they had shared, and the love that would always connect them. As they packed up to leave, Liam took one last look at the lake. "Bye, Dad," he whispered. "Thanks for everything." And as they walked back to the car, Liam felt a gentle breeze brush against his face, carrying with it the faintest whisper, "I love you, buddy." As time went on, Liam found himself thinking more about how he could keep his father's memory alive. He didn't want to just remember his dad. He wanted to honor him in a way that would make him proud. One evening, as he sat at the kitchen table doing homework, an idea came to him. "Mom," he said, looking up from his notebook, "what if we did something to help other kids who've lost their parents? Like maybe we could start a group or something where they can talk about how they're feeling." His mom paused, setting down the dish she was drying. "That's a wonderful idea, Liam. Your dad always believed in helping others. I think he'd love that." With his mom's support, Liam began working on his idea. He talked to his school counselor, who helped him organize a small support group for kids who had lost a loved one. At first, Liam was nervous about sharing his own story, but he remembered his dad's words, "You're braver than you think." The first meeting was held in the school library after hours. Liam stood in front of a small group of kids, his heart pounding. "Hi," he began, his voice shaky but determined. "I'm Liam, and I lost my dad 6 months ago. It's been really hard, but I've learned that it helps to talk about it, so I thought maybe we could all share our stories and help each other." One by one, the kids began to open up. Some talked about losing a parent, others about losing a sibling or grandparent. Liam listened carefully, offering words of encouragement and sharing his own experiences. By the end of the meeting, he felt a sense of connection with the group, like they were all in this together. Over time, the support group became a safe space for the kids to express their feelings and support one another. Liam felt proud of what they had created, and he knew his dad would be proud too. One day, as Liam was walking home from school, he noticed a small bird perched on a tree branch. It reminded him of the time his dad had taught him about different bird species during one of their hikes. Liam smiled, feeling a sense of peace. He realized that his dad's love and lessons were still a part of him, guiding him every day. That night, as he lay in bed, Liam whispered, "Thanks, Dad. I hope I'm making you proud." And just like before, he felt that familiar warmth in his chest, a silent reassurance that his dad was still with him, watching over him. Months turned into a year, and Liam continued to grow, not just in height but in strength and courage. The pain of losing his dad didn't disappear, but it became softer, like a scar that reminded him of love rather than loss. He had learned to carry his father's memory with him, not as a burden but as a source of strength. One sunny afternoon, Liam stood in front of his father's grave again. This time, he wasn't alone. His mom stood beside him, and a few steps behind were the kids from the support group he had started. They had all come to honor their loved ones, each holding a flower or a small token of remembrance. Liam knelt down and placed a single red rose on the gravestone, just like he had done a year ago. But this time he didn't feel the same heaviness in his chest. Instead, he felt a sense of peace and gratitude. "Hi, Dad," he said softly, his voice steady. "It's been a year, and I've been thinking a lot about you. I've tried to be brave, just like you asked. I started a group at school to help other kids who've lost someone they love. I think you'd be proud of us. We're all trying to be brave together." He paused, looking at the gravestone as if he could see his father's face. "I miss you every day, but I know you're still with me. I feel you in the wind, in the stars, and in my heart. Thank you for everything you taught me. I'll never forget you." As he stood up, he felt a gentle breeze brush against his cheek, carrying with it the faintest whisper. "I'm proud of you, Liam." Tears filled Liam's eyes, but this time they were tears of love, not sadness. He turned to his mom and the group, smiling through his tears. "Let's go," he said. "We've got a lot of good things to do." As they walked away from the cemetery, Liam felt a deep sense of closure. He knew his dad's spirit would always be with him, guiding him, loving him, and reminding him to be brave. And in that moment, Liam realized that love never truly dies. It lives on in the hearts of those who carry it. The bond between a father and son, even when separated by life and death, was unbreakable. And as long as Liam kept his father's memory alive, his dad would always be a part of him.
Subscribe and press the bell icon so that you never miss the amazing video.